The ultimate Rorschach test in American politics today may be the word Benghazi. For many conservatives, the deaths of 4 Americans at the diplomatic compound there began with incompetence and continued with dishonesty, a cover-up that goes on. For many Democrats, it's seen as a politically driven witch hunt targeting President Obama and possible presidential hopeful Hillary Clinton. Tomorrow, a House Oversight Committee will hear new testimony on Benghazi from 3 witnesses critics say have been prevented from speaking until now. One of the questioners and one of the harshest critics of the administration's response is South Carolina Congressman Trey Gowdy, who told us there are 3 basic issues to consider on Benghazi.
So the first category is the failure to provide security when it was requested beforehand. This is before the attack.
Yeah.
All right. That's category 1. Category 2, during the attack itself, which lasted about 7 hours, did we send aid during the attack itself? Thirdly, and this is the category that I have spent the most amount of time focusing on, that's kind of the Susan Rice talking points Sunday morning show category. And did we level with people afterwards about how it happened and how to prevent it?
The star witness tomorrow, diplomat Gregory Hicks, who became the chief of mission in Libya after Ambassador Christopher Stevens died that night. He's expected to testify. He asked the Pentagon to scramble fighter jets over Benghazi or send special forces troops on a plane from the Libyan capital, and both requests were denied. But neither may have made much difference because it appears the planes wouldn't have arrived before the 4 Americans lost their lives. Congressman Gowdy isn't quite sure about that.
Your characterization assumes the veracity of the speaker, which is another problem with Benghazi.
That's your witness tomorrow, though.
Well, that's one of the witnesses, but that's why you have hearings. Is that fact pattern you just laid out assumes the veracity of the speaker. So when you have that third tranche, when government has already, in my estimation, deliberately misled you as to what the cause was, does that impact your ability to believe that middle tranche, that middle category?
Let's spend a little bit of time on that last category of the government either intentionally or unintentionally misinforming the public. Initially, of course, it's the Susan Rice Sunday talk show moment that now is so famous, where she said,
"In fact, this was not a pre-planned, premeditated attack."
We later learned, and some suggest they always knew, that it was actually a planned attack. Why is that important, and is your sense that it wasn't an innocent mistake, that there was some ulterior motive?
Well, you're referring to scienter or intent. Do I think it's intentional? Yes. She's a career diplomat. Words matter, and we're in the throes of an election cycle. So you have a narrative that you want to perpetuate to the American people, that everything's going well, that we're winning the war on terrorism, Osama bin Laden's dead, and here we have al-Qaeda attack us in Libya and kill 4 of our fellow Americans. Do I think that the misrepresentations were intentional? I do, and I don't think that's going to be hard to prove.
How do you prove that?
Well, you asked them, Ambassador Rice, what evidence did you have to support the video narrative? The third part that we're going to focus on tomorrow, and that I find most interesting, is did her misrepresentations actually negatively impact our ability to investigate Benghazi? Because what our witnesses are telling us, keep in mind the Bureau was not on the ground investigating when she said they were. They were 3 weeks away.
FBI had trouble getting there,
Why?
Perhaps because Rice contradicted Libyan officials.
Well, we have evidence, we have witnesses that say it wasn't perhaps, it was directly because. What evidence is there to dispute that? What evidence does Ambassador Rice have that, no, my misrepresentations really weren't to blame, there was an air traffic control problem, or we couldn't get a plane to get there for 3 weeks? There's not a crime scene ever that's gotten better after 3 weeks. After the ambassadors died, Hicks is the top person in Libya, and he's now telling us that her misrepresentations are the reason the Bureau was not allowed in. That is a big deal. That's more than her just being wrong. Then it begins to impact or affect our ability to find out what happened.